Meanwhile, back at Mad and at Altonware, Wanyanyekavu, Jamie, and Kenji were training when Obey and Jome approached. We have a band of men about 75 or so on jet ships, and another 75 to 100 on horses about 10 miles behind them approaching us from the east. Wiping the sweat from his brow, Wanyanyekavu told Jome and Obey. You two grab your men, and let's see who we have here, and by the way, grab Grace. Wanyanyekavu and his men exited the south gate, other than by spaceship or jet ship. It was the only entrance into or out of Mad Inn at Altonware. About halfway to the men on jet ships, Wanyanyekavu said aloud, Oedipus man, I hope he's here so we can finally get rid of him. Having all sharpshooters posted in different locations, Wanyanyekavu and 16 of his men approached them in a diamond-shaped formation. The closer they got to them, the more they spread out into one straight horizontal line formation. Wanyanyekavu stopped about a mile from the men, pulling out a white flag, and spoke to his men by his earpiece. I hope to spare as many as I can, but I doubt it, if I find one man who isn't evil. But there just might be one. Wanyanyekavu bowed his head and prayed, Sabaoth, if all these men are evil, let them feel your wrath. However, if any of these men are not evil, let it be your will that somehow they are spared. Amen. Everyone who heard his voice said, Amen. Wanyanyekavu looked up. These jet ships and horses we could use. As a matter of fact, Jome, we need to go get those jet ships your brother buried. Wanyanyekavu saw a vision. Sharpshooters, you will pick off those I call out, but I'm just stalling, while waiting for those on horseback to get closer. Wanyanyekavu held the white flag high to hide Grace, not knowing if they had scopes, and said to Grace, Make a small dirt tornado and make your way behind the men on horses, and kill the last ones and work your way towards us, quickly and quietly as possible. Then he told his men, Stay within range and shoot to kill. Now, standing about 3 to 4 yards from the men on jet ships, Wanyanyekavu said, Good day, my friends. The men held up their weapons, and he could hear Obey shouting, Wanyanyekavu, get out of there! Wanyanyekavu spoke softly back into his mic. Obey, I've seen everything before it has happened, remember? Then Wanyanyekavu started talking to the men. Never mind that, my men are worried about me. Now, where were we? Oh yeah, please lower your weapon. It makes my men kind of nervous, plus, we are just here to talk, right? Given the order to lower their weapons by the leader of the men dropped their jet ships evenly to Wanyanyekavu's height, and some men in the rear lowered their weapons as well. Wanyanyekavu whispered into the earpiece to his men. All the ones that didn't lower their weapons on my mark, I got 4 of them, to my right, you all need to get them first. The man who appeared to be the leader looked at Wanyanyekavu. You are either an imbecile or crazy. Who is in charge here? For this land belongs to Abeni B6 and Oedipus, and I am Tilo, the son and high commander of Oedipus. Wanyanyekavu looked at the man. I guess I am the one in charge, and I'm Wanyanyekavu, a servant of Sabaoth, and Abeni B6 is dead. We killed it. Tilo smiled. Yes, you're an imbecile. There's no way in hell your silly ass could have killed B6. Now tell your leader to show himself. Wanyanyekavu held a finger up. Excuse me. Then whispered into his earpiece. You need to kill the fat one with the white jet ship also, on my mark. Wanyanyekavu looked up at the man again. Sorry about that, my men keep telling me you are wicked men, but I said no, all men are good, right? Wanyanyekavu counted down in his mind, and then shouted. Now! A bullet went through Tilo's skull, killing him as he fell to the ground. The rest of the men who had their weapons raised also fell to their deaths. As a man in front of Wanyanyekavu reached for his weapon, Wanyanyekavu quickly took 2 wooden stars out and killed 2 men that were behind him before killing him. There stood 4 men standing there, in awe. Wanyanyekavu looked at the men. Sorry about that, those men were a little bit too trigger-happy for me. He spoke into his mic. You will see them raise their weapon, those need to be killed first, and we got the rest.